Hi everyone, this is Courtney with Texas Teacher Today, and I always like to start with going over some free information. So let me show you. If we Google Texas EPP passing rates for 2023, you will see the Texas Educator Certification Exam Program pass rate. And we can see for the BTLPT, the passing rate is only 55%. So only 55% of the first time test takers pass the test. So almost half the people don't pass it. And most of the people that contact me, Spanish is their first language. So it just shows you that this is a really tough exam. So that's some data that the state puts out. Now, if you go to Google and type in Texas NESIMC manual, you can pull up the preparation manual for the BTLPT. And they call it a preparation manual, but I think of it as more of a starting point because it's not really enough practice for most people to pass, but it is really good information. And the stuff on here is real similar to the real test, right? So you can do the listening, oral, reading, and written practice and learn more about the test here by clicking on Overview and Exam Framework. You can see listening comprehension is 21% of the test. Reading comprehension is 26%. Oral expression is 29%. Written expression is 24%. Usually people do pretty well on listening and reading. They still need to get a little bit more points, but they do pretty well on that. But they only get about 2/3 of the possible points on oral and written expression. So those are areas that I really work on hard in my tutoring. And we meet Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central for a whole hour, and we go over listening, reading, writing, and speaking, right? So I thought tonight I would show you how to do one of the tasks. So in my course, you can see I have lots of listening practice to get you ready for the test, and I tell you how to time yourself. Lots of reading, and I tell you how to time yourself. And then I show you how to do the speaking, and then I ask you to upload your own speaking task for feedback, right? So you do that. And for written too, I show you first where the accent marks go, and I show you examples of how to get a perfect score, and then I ask you to upload your own. But tonight, let's do a question and answer. So let's go to the preparation manual and look at the instructions for the speaking. So you can see there's 5 tasks here. The simulated conversation, 2 question and answer with the same scenario, an oral presentation, and support a situation opinion. So the conversation, that one I think is not as challenging because you only have to talk for 20 seconds each time it's your turn to talk. And it's just like having a conversation. So it's not that bad. But the question and answer, you get 1 minute to prepare, and then you have to speak for 1 whole minute. So that's a little bit harder for most people, and they usually come up a little bit short, and they don't talk for the whole minute. And then the oral presentation and support a situation opinion, that's even harder. You get 2 minutes to prepare, and you have to talk for 2 whole minutes. So most people struggle with that. So tonight I thought we would do a question and answer. So in my course where I showed you, there's lots of practice there, but I also have extra practice in this recordings and extra files section, which is the recordings from previous tutoring. So if we go to oral expression 2, we'll see for the question and answer, you get 15 seconds to review the scenario. Then you get 60 seconds, you hear the prompt, and you get 60 seconds to prepare. Then you hear the prompt again, and then you get 60 seconds to speak, right? So I thought I would do one of these for you guys. Um, so I'll set a timer. So we need a 15-second timer. Imagínese que un padre le hace las siguientes preguntas. So you can see I didn't really need the whole 15 seconds there, but maybe yours will be a little bit longer. Now I'm going to set a timer for 60 seconds. I'm going to read this out loud because you would hear it on the test. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarle a mi hijo a mejorar su comprensión de lectura en español? 1 minute to prepare. Okay, so now we'd hear it again, and then you'd have 1 minute to answer. And it starts right away. You don't get any extra time. You can't restart it or redo it. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarle a mi hijo a mejorar su comprensión de lectura en español? Buenas tardes. Hoy voy a explicar algunas estrategias que usted puede usar para ayudarle a su hijo a mejorar su comprensión de lectura en español. Para empezar, es imprescindible que lea varios tipos de literatura en español, así que debe leer ficción, no ficción, leyendas, cuentos, fábulas, historias, etcétera, en español para que tenga acceso a un amplio tipo de literatura. Además, mientras está leyendo, debe usar las estrategias metacognitivas. Por ejemplo, si está leyendo y no entiende alguna parte, debe decirle a sí mismo, no entendí esta parte. Voy a leer esta parte otra vez para analizarla, para entenderla mejor. Además, puede decir, quiero saber lo que está diciendo el autor y voy a analizar esta parte. Estas son estrategias. So I ran out of time, but you can see I fully addressed the task. My Spanish wasn't perfect, but the rubric says that we can have isolated mistakes. We just cannot have a pattern of errors, right? So I varied my language structure, what they say you have to do. I used formal register, which you have to do, formal Spanish. And I stayed on topic, which you also have to do. So they're analyzing, are you hitting the objective? And they're also analyzing, did you use proper Spanish? Now, if you get one scenario where you're talking to a student, well, then you could use less formal Spanish, right? Because you'd be talking to a student. But this one, I'm talking to a parent. So I would use formal Spanish. So that's an example. You can see there's another question that goes with it. And then there's also the oral presentation, right? And the propose a solution as well as the simulated conversation. So in my Tuesday night group, we practice everything. We practice all of them, and I give you feedback on how to improve. So I think you'd really like that. If you need help passing the BTLPT or any other Texas exam, please call or text me at 361 846 0741. Thanks.